and he uses
video.
yeah, of course, yeah. And like we do a lot of like I saw a lot of kind of like DOP kind of activities, but he do like in our place, and I also want to learn video editing, the basics of video editing. So yeah, let's enjoy what Croydon is going to talk tonight.
Thank you, Sharji.
Thank you. And then we are going to be here until the end of Ramadan. And please register and join with us, support us. And whoever is not, following iBrandConnect, please follow us. Buy a lot of things from me. Thank you.
Let's all buy stuff from Sharji.
Yeah.
Give him a hat. Give him a hat. Give him a hat.
Thanks, man.
Hi guys, welcome to a very short crash course on video editing. It's the basics of it. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to video editing and videography. The two go hand in hand. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the videography aspect of it, like the filming, etc. That's a whole other topic to speak about. What we'll talk about today is about the actual editing process. Again, it's a very short crash course. There's a lot to talk about in that, so I'll try and squeeze whatever I can within the time I'm given. So my name is Croydon Fernandes. I'm a content creator. I'm based here in the UAE since 1990. I grew up over here. I'm a content creator. I own my own media production agency with a bunch of 3 other co-founders. They're sitting over here, all over the place. 2 are here, and 1 is somewhere in the corner. I'm a research analyst. That's one of the things I also do. I help try and find startups and unicorns whenever possible. I love video editing. It was a hobby that turned into a profession, I would say, for me over the last 6 years. I love technology, and I love my video games. You can give me a PlayStation, I'll sit down and play PlayStation all day long. I'm also a crazy, crazy person in football. I will miss our shoots if I have to play football. That's something I love to do. These are some of the photos, etc., that I've taken with the gang whenever we've been out. If you guys watch football, that's Mo Salah. I used to work there at one point, so that's one of the jobs I used to do was in marketing. And these are some of the other portfolio shoots that we've done for people in the past. So very quickly, what is video editing? First of all, let me ask a question. How much of video editing has anyone over here done? Have you done a lot of video editing in the past? You've done video editing. Anyone else? Do you know? Just Instagram Reels. That's pretty good. That's still a good start to what you have to do. So basically, video editing is an arrangement of individual clips and audio files put together to create a short video. I mean, these clips can be in the form of any sort of medium. They can be from your phone, your mirrorless camera, and so on. And they can even include like certain software can even import PDFs, Illustrator files. You can animate them, do a lot of crazy things with proper video editing software. As I said in the beginning, video editing is a vast and a broad subject. There are many, many different aspects that go with it. They contain multiple stages, such as the basic flow of what your storyline is going to be, what you're going to create out of the story, out of the multiple clips that you have. There's sound design to take into consideration, because sound is a very integral part of a video editing process. There's your color correction, your color grading elements, and I'm pretty sure everyone's seeing on Instagram these days a lot of these VFX 3D things. That's also part of video editing, and that's a very complicated sort of section. And a lot of other things. There is no right or wrong in editing. Like, I can give you a bunch of clips, and you would edit it in a certain format, and I would edit it in a certain format. There's a completely different way. Like, there are many different ways to edit the same footage. I have an example of the exact same thing I'm talking about. So let me show you over here. This was a project that we did in 2020 for Land Rover, and we had to film a storyboard, etc., and we had to basically come up with the edit after that. So we had come up with 2 different versions using the exact same clip. So I'm going to play this for you. Okay, that was edit number 1. Now I want you to tell me which one you'll like at the end of this. This is edit number 2, using the exact same clips. Okay, which one was better for you? Number 2? Yeah, pretty much what even the client chose number 2. Why did you like number 2? What do you think made a difference between the first and the second edit?
I love the thrill when I'm watching it, like I'm a bit, but I still want to continue watching it. So it means to say that it's quite interesting. The first one was okay, but it's not as interesting as number 2. And then the music, they incorporate with the video clips.
Correct.
The in and out, so that's something that's really touching.
Anyone else? Anything else that you liked about the second one over the first one, which caught your attention? Nope. This attention span. So the first one was a bit dragging, a bit slow. What do you think caused that? I see. So, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Venus. Okay, cool. So as Venus said, it's music which plays a major role in your video editing process, and it does so for me. So, oh, okay, it's the wrong slide, but anyway, I'll talk about the music process. Selecting the right audio track is very key to creating the mood or the tone or the pace of the video that you're creating. Oh, I think it's after this. So anyway, so let me get to that. Currently, the different programs that we use, that I use for editing, are the paid ones down there, Premiere Pro, After Effects, and LumaFusion. But if you really want to get into video editing and really professional ones, DaVinci Resolve is there. It is for free, and it's a full spec video editing software which can do stuff that Premiere Pro can do easily. CapCut is there. I'm sure everyone who uses Instagram Reels, etc., uses that. And it's, for me as an editor, it's one of the most complete packages on a mobile phone that you can use. It includes keyframing, masking, etc. VN Editor is another similar competitor to CapCut, so that's something else that you could also use for editing. If you're into the paid software and you're on mobile phone, I have not found anything as good as LumaFusion. So they used to be only on the Mac, on Android, on OS devices, but now they ported to Android devices as well. So you can literally do nearly full-fledged edits from from a mobile phone or from a tablet. So let me go to the next slide. Coming back to what I was speaking about, the music tracks. So for me, music always makes a major impact into how I'm going to create my video. If the music is fast, if the music is catchy, then I want to make sure that the energy is transformed from the music into the actual video. That's what I always start with, and it helps, as I said, helps me set the pace for the tone that I'm going for. So here's an example that we shot for Rove recently for one of their social media videos. This is an example of a fast-paced edit and how I'll have edited according to the track. So that's an example of a fast-paced edit. I just basically went with the flow of the music. So there's a lot of high-energy transitions, like the doors closing, and then a lot of masking, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot of movement, a lot of motion blur within that. Similarly, for the same client in a different area, but we had a slow pace movement. They chose a different soundtrack, so we created a different sort of audio, a different kind of feel to it. Mind you, I still use a lot of transitions in my videos, so it might seem fast, but it was slow to me when I was editing it.
That's the way every day goes.
So that lady's over here. She's sitting in the front row. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you guys seen a slight difference between the two different? There's a big difference, right? Between how fast and how much movement there was in the previous edit versus this one. It's more gradual, it's more slow, it's more focused on the actual subject, whereas the other one was just like chaos. It's exact. I put the energy from the music into my edit. Simple is also good. This is just one last example that I'm sending to you, showing to you guys. Very simple. It's just really beautiful shots set to a really nice tone and visually appealing shots. So as I said, there's no right or wrong way in editing. It's just how you choose, how you feel the beat of the music, how you feel that the client or whoever it is that you're editing for wants to see the end product. So reading that is the best part of trying to get the edit across. So now I'll just do a quick live set. I'm sure people wanted to understand more about the in-depth processes of the of editing. So I'll quickly get on to Premiere Pro, and I'll teach you all these four different aspects. These are the most basic things to know within any editing software. Keyframing, which will help you to learn speed ramping, which will help you to learn masking and even color correction, like basic color correction. So let me get on to my friend Premiere Pro. I've already opened it up here. So let's start with keyframing. Have you all used editing softwares on the phone or even on the computer? Anyone? No? Everyone's just done basic phone or nothing at all?
You want to start
Start, like from the beginning. How do I do that?
How do you import your files and so on?
From that, okay, fine. All right, so I've basically gone already more advanced. All right, then let's start with the actual process of setting up a new project.
What are we looking at?
Okay, simple. So this is Premiere Pro, one of the paid softwares I mentioned about. It's one of the workhorses in the video industry, between this and DaVinci Resolve. Although this has more errors and is prone to crashing, but it's still the most reliable when it comes to creating everything. Everything feels very familiar and it's very intuitive when you start using it. You have multiple different panels when you like from the start page. Like when the moment you set up a new project, you know what? Let's just set up a new project. Let's do that. We are going to set up an entirely new project in Premiere Pro. I'm going to create one over here. Let's call this iBrandConnect. And where is it? It's down here. So this is an entirely blank feed when you come into an editing software, especially in Premiere Pro. Now the first place that we all need to start is getting and importing your clips. So we have a different project pane over here, if you can see on the side. And you just double click to import your media, find wherever your media is. And I believe mine is all on the desktop, which is over here. And just drag, and that's it. Now, one thing I like to do when I start any project is I like to make sure it's organized. Organization is key, especially if you have multiple video clips, multiple days. Like we shoot on multiple days. So you need to know what days you're shooting and if we shoot with multiple cameras, you need to know which camera shot what. So not confusing between those cameras and the dates is very important. And I will show you how to make an organized sort of file. So we have a system called bins. It's another fancier word for folder. So instead of folder, it's called a bin. You just create a new bin. We call it videos, for example. And then we just drag and drop all your videos into there. So now they're perfectly arranged inside this folder for thing. And if you can have something else for your music tracks, so that all the different music that you have can be put into that particular file, etc. Now, coming into the main sort of software. This is known as your timeline, this particular area. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you drag and drop your clips into this particular area. So for example, let me take this clip, I just drag and I drop it here, and boom. So this is your timeline. This just shows a real-time view of what is being played. That clip is just dropped in. That's Madonna again over there talking on the phone. Okay. This is your program monitor. So whatever is playing down here, you get to see it on the top up here. So if I put another clip, I'll drag this clip of the barista doing something. Yeah, shaking. So it literally moves from the first clip onto the second clip immediately, and you're seeing it up over there, whatever he's doing. So this is, well, like I said, where the magic happens in that respect, where you basically build your entire story. You build your edit process. You can keep dropping in multiple clips. You can keep putting them in different layers so that you can have one video clip on top of another, and then when you play it back, whatever is on the top of the video always takes precedence. So the clip I just dropped of Fez walking in will come ahead. If I have to move this out of the way and bring it to the edge at the end over here, the entire clip would still play on, and then his clip would show up at the end of it. So the order of things in how on the timeline is, it's all whatever is on the top takes precedence. If anyone's used Photoshop in the past, it's the exact same way. It works as layers over here. So this is just layers for videography. Yes, so this is that aspect of the timeline. On the left over here, we have multiple different options. They're called the effect controls, lumetri scopes, where you do your color correction and your color grading, your source monitors for other stuff. These are in the audio clip mixers. These are for more advanced topics, so I won't get into that. But the effects control is something that I think you should familiarize yourself with when you get into video editing. This is the bread and butter of what makes anything work in the actual software. You have multiple different options here, such as your position of the video. You have the rotation aspect. You have opacity controls. Opacity is how much you can see the image or not. Like if it's 100% image is completely clear. Otherwise, you drop the opacity, it basically fades out. It becomes pitch black. You have time remapping, and you have your audio stuff, your audio controls here. So these are the most basic controls of the video aspect, video software. Using these, you can literally create multiple different ways of an edit. So let's start by the most important thing to learn in editing. It's keyframing. There's this little stopwatch over here. Now, multiple editing softwares have a different icon, but on CapCut, I think it's a triangle, and VN is another triangle thing. But keyframing is basically another way of saying animating. So if you want to animate a logo, or you want to animate a video clip, which is possible to do by keyframing. So let's say now I want to take a different clip. Let's take a clip where I want to focus on, let's take this one. So I've dragged and dropped it here. I want the video, as the video is moving in, I want it to move more into the, the beaker and the glass. So this is already at the standard sort of scale. Now, if I want that to do that, I can literally just take this slider and zoom in there. But the problem is now it's still, I want it to gradually zoom in as the clip sort of reaches the end point. So in order to do that, we will use keyframing. So I will click on this little stopwatch icon. Let me set it 100 over here. I'll move the playhead further down the line, further down the timeline, sorry. So maybe around here. And I would probably put in a zoom of, say, 120. All right. So now I'll play this back. It's not very noticeable, and the playback is a bit terrible, but as we move forward, it's zooming in gradually into the scene. So you can use this technique if you have a certain sort of subject that you want to focus on in a thriller setting, or there's a very tense scene and you just want to have a slow zoom coming in. There's no zoom on your camera. You never did that in pre-production. You can literally do that for that. We can even do the same for a rotation. So for example, I want to have this frame rotate more as it zooms in. I want it to rotate a bit more to the right. So we go to the beginning of the playhead, and we'll add a rotation keyframe, and we bring it all the way to the end over here. And let's say we want to rotate it like that. I would say like that, and then I will bump up the zoom a bit more so we can sort of cover those edges. It might not be clean, but yeah. So now if I play it back, let's hope it plays back. I've already made it a bit more dynamic than what it was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just a straight pan shot without any zoom effect, without any sort of depth. But utilizing just and the rotation and keyframes, I've basically made this look, I wouldn't say, I don't know what's the right word, more funky. It's a bit more interesting, yeah. That would be the word. And pair this with some soundtracks, and you can even speed up the clip so it goes fast and it's rotating into your actual object. You can use this for many different things. I think if you use it on social media, you'll see this being done on cars. A lot of the car videos, they go like really quick towards a thing and they rotate into it and they come out of it. This is exactly how they do it. I haven't sped up the clip. I wanted to teach you all about the basic, which was keyframing, so that I can show you how the quick speed thing is done as well. That's called speed ramping in video editing process. These are actually really, I know it looks complicated, but it isn't. Like, especially when you understand what this thing does. And then once you know that you can animate virtually anything inside your editor, suddenly there's a whole new world when it comes to editing, when it comes to creating. Any questions, anyone? Like, especially when it comes to this. Keyframing? Anyone? No? Am I boring you? The keyframes? Yes, there are. Exactly the same. So they don't have the stopwatch icon. It's like a weird diamond thing. And in CapCut, you can literally animate anything over there. So you'll have to do it manually. They don't have these particular panels. There's a little icon on the extreme left-hand side, which is like a diamond and a plus. So that says keyframe. You click on that at the beginning of your clip. Say it's straight like this, and you want it to rotate towards the end. You move your playhead to where you want that effect to sort of culminate towards, and then you use your fingers and you basically twist your image and move back, and you play the entire thing, and you'll see it play in real time, moving and rotating in the exact way that you did it, to where you stopped, to the last point that you stopped. So scaling, rotation, your position of the video as well. Like, I can do the exact same thing with positioning. So, for example, let me take something easy like a title, basic title. I can literally use, now the title just stuck here. The title has its own effects panels. You can do you can rotate it like this. You can move it around, do whatever you want. So a lot of animations on titles are done just like this through keyframing. So I want, at the beginning of the video, I want the title to be out of the frame. Okay, so I'm going to push it extremely out. It's outside the frame. I'll just zoom out a bit so you can, yeah, it's over here. It's literally outside. And then say 4 seconds or 3 seconds in, I want it to slowly come in. And this is where I bring the title. And if I play it back, I basically animated the title and brought it in using a keyframe. So I can even rotate it. I can do whatever I want as it comes out. I can make it bigger as it comes in. So let's say I do this. And now I play it back. It's a big title. So yeah, that is one of the most important things to understand in video editing. And this is
I have done Premiere for a little bit.
okay.
Learning out of the tutorials.
Sure.
In the keyframe,
Mhm.
when you right click the keyframe point,
Mhm.
there is options ease in, ease out.
Yes.
What is the role in that? And it looks like it's also very smooth.
Yeah.
It's just a smoothness. Or
It really adds a lot in terms of that, because this is it's like a very linear move in, like whatever you're doing, whatever animations that you do. So if you take these and you right click on them, go to temporal interpolation, ease in. Now the problem is it's a bit jittery on this. You can't really tell, but the way it moves in, there's like a curve, and seeing that curve, it's in fact, let me see if I can show it over here. Yeah. So in this particular thing, you can't really adjust it too much, the curves. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah. I still find After Effects better for this than this. So when you ease in a title, the process of easing in, it basically brings it in. It's exactly what it means. It eases it in, other than coming in straight like that, like a title. It's a very smooth movement into the frame. So it's useful when you're doing transitions, when you're bringing in titles, masking, etc. But yeah, that is like a more, like, not more advanced. It's part of the whole flow, which you probably do towards the end of your editing cycle. That's that for this. Now the quick zoom in thing, or maybe I show you something. Yeah, I'll show the speed ramp. A speed ramp is basically showing an object at a slow speed, and then there's a lot of, say, fluff in the middle. For example, this clip. It shows the lamp first, and then if I want to get to Madonna over here, there's at least a 3 to 4 second sort of movement there, but I wanted to get it really quick. I wanted to come from the lamps, a slow motion to the lamp, and straight to Madonna. So with the help of keyframing, I can do literally that. In most editing software, even in CapCut, you have speed controls. CapCut, that's why I like CapCut, because you can control the flow of speed, and they have the different curves. Have you used CapCut a lot? No, not yet. But they have speed controls there, which is really awesome for a mobile video editor, because a lot of them don't have it. And that's why I even liked VN Editor. They were one of the first to have speed ramping, speed gradients controls inside a mobile editor. So very similar to those, we would use a speed map over here in the Premiere Pro, which basically creates fixed points in time. It creates a timeline on your clip, and I want to basically move from point A to point B in a really, really quick motion. So I'm just going to expand this clip here. I'll find the point where I want it to move. So I think this is still fine over here. Like it's the subject is in focus. So I make a point on my over here. And then all this is way too long. Like I wanted to sort of reach here immediately. So I put up a point down there. And now I will just increase the speed in between the 2 points I've made. So to kind of make it like a junction, and to just unlink this so that, and so as to have a very smooth sort of entry towards the speed ramp. I'm kind of going to use that ease in, ease out method, but it's literally over here. It's on the clip itself. It's not a separate interpolation that you have to do. So if you can see this little thing, I will just make that a bit smooth. It's tiny. And let's see how it looks. That's exactly how a speed ramp would be. Really quick, like focus here and then boom, straight to the next subject. And pairing that with fast music, that would generally go really well. So that's the thing with speed ramping. Next, I'll show you all quickly about masking. Have you all seen those videos where things transition between one object to another? Like there's a wall and then it just kind of goes like that and then you see something else. So very similarly, you can use this process on your mobile phone. In Rove, yes. It was there in the actual video. The board comes through and then you see the hotel, etc. But I can show you a quick version over here using Fez and a wall, which I took today morning. So let's take, I'm going to take 2 clips from my timeline, one, this one, and the other one. Now they're both side by side. So this is one motion that I took, and it ends there. And then this is Fez looking through the mirror and running away. In fact, I actually don't like this motion because of the way it's moving. It's moving away while this one is still in a fixed plane. I feel that as an editor, if I have it moving towards the person, it makes more sense visually if the frame switches. Otherwise, you're left confused. Like, why is it moving this way and then it's moving the other way around? So I will delete this clip and I will take another one where I was moving into the frame. Same thing. And Claire's walking in. Right. So now this is the point of where the wall comes in. And I want to use this wall to basically transition to the next scene. In order to do that, I need to put the second clip underneath the first clip because that needs to be, the mask has to be on top of the base layer. So I'll show you. I'll lift this clip up. Now I'll bring Fez sort of underneath around here. I think this is where I would see, yeah. I'd want to see him a bit more over here. So as the wall moves in, I would want to see him sort of appearing over there. So now in order to do that, I would select the wall clip, the one which is on top. I'd go to the effects controls, which is over here, where all the magic, like I said, happens. And I'll click on the opacity button. And I would create something called a mask. You draw an object, basically. A mask is basically an area that you sort of cover to have extra data, which would tell that clip what to do. So in simpler terms, it's just an area that you can sort of manipulate. and it's isolated and you manipulate from there. So I'm going to draw a mask around here, and now this is the clip underneath. See, Fairs, the clip with Fairs in the foreground, in the background, has come up. It was actually below, so we shouldn't be able to see this. But because I put a mask, it's kind of excluded everything on the top. But I want to invert it. So there's a button here which inverts it. Now I'm back to seeing the original clip on the top. Okay, so let's see where the wall comes in. The wall comes in around here. So using this mask, this block which I've created, I would create a keyframe under this thing called the mask path, right there. So that is my starting position for this mask. And now I'm going to animate the mask to move as the wall moves along. So let's move over here. I would say, see what's happening. As I drag the mask, it's revealing the layer underneath as well. So what I want to do, I'll keep a bit of a gap over here. Around here. And then as it reaches the final bit, I would say completely reveal the bottom layer. And now if I play that back, that's a bit fast. But that's exactly what the mask is supposed to do. It's supposed to transition from one object, one scene to another using anything in front. So I've used this wall. People use glasses. People use other people's bodies to mask subjects out. So that happens in the filming phase. So when you're actually filming and you have an idea, maybe you didn't even think about it. It's just that someone happened to walk across your scene. So you can use that creatively in your thing. Like, okay, fine, maybe I'll use this person walking across. You need to literally draw a mask around the person, animate the mask, and as he moves across, he kind of creates a new scene for you. So I use that a lot in my videos as well. This is basically the use of a keyframe and a mask together. This is not the most perfect mask, by the way. This is a terrible mask in my opinion, because I would never start it from this close. I would give more time for the wall. So ideally, I would have kept it still. I would let the wall move first. Yeah, I would do this. So you can actually see the wall moving and then cutting across. That's a much more cleaner effect. Adding a bit of feather to the edges of your mask makes it look like it was intentionally placed there. It's not a hard cut. Because in post-production, when you look at it on the final big screen, it looks terrible if it's very straight, very hard, the edge. So with masking, you can literally do this for anything, from tables to objects to people, as I said. And finally, let me touch upon color correction. People love color grading, etc., making these orange and teal looks and so on and so forth. Color correction is literally changing the colors to make it look as natural as possible. So whatever you shoot in, if you shot as if you're a professional mirrorless user, you shoot in log formats, or you shoot in different D log, C log, S log, depending on what camera that you use. You try and color correct it as close as possible based on Pantone colors or based on your Adobe RGB colors, etc. Color grading is changing the look of the actual film. So if you've color corrected it, everyone's skin looks normal, the colors all look visible, and now you want to give that the Joker look. If everyone's watched the Joker, the movie, or Batman, or whichever movie you like, so you want to give that particular look. You grade it. You grade it based on different things: the shadows, the midtones, the highlights, giving it a different kind of feel. That is what the difference between color correction and color grading is. So because these clips are not shot in log, these were just taken on my phone, which are nearly true to life. I will do a very quick. I'll just show you the example of how you can sort of color correct a clip. I'll take and drag this particular one. This is the dude giving. I'll just open up the color tab over here on the side, and it's known as lumetri color. And in the editor itself, whatever you do out on the right, you can see it immediately. The same goes with mobile video formats. You can change most of these items. Your exposure increases the brightness of the image. The contrast increases the punchiness of the actual image. So the higher the contrast, the more punchier you're giving it, more punch you're giving it versus this way. The less highlights increase the brighter parts of the image over here. Shadows increase or decrease the darker parts. Similar with the whites, the brightest whites are increased or decreased depending on how you move it. So you can even change your temperature, your tone, depending on how you want to see that particular the scene. And of course, your saturation. If you like noir films and you just want to keep it completely black and white, you can change it up over here. And Premiere Pro is pretty cool in the fact that it has its own inbuilt sort of lookup tables or LUTs. On mobile format, they're called filters, I would say, like different types of looks. And if you want to change, as I was talking about color grading, what I was doing over here was sort of color correcting. Like I said, everything is nearly true to life, how I saw it over there in person. There's not much I would change apart from just adding a bit more of punch. But now I want to change the entire look using the same grading that I've done. To do that, like you can either create your own lookup tables, or on the internet there are thousands of LUTs that are available that you can choose based on what you like. I tend to make a lot of the moodier, darker sort of color tones, color palettes. So for me, I always found where is this? The SL Blue Ice look is much better for me. Obviously, don't put too much of it. Change up the vibrance, the saturation a tad bit. But if I switch this off, you can see let me just make it a bit bigger. This is how it looks without a lookup table. Just adding a bit of the blueness has changed the look completely. And obviously you can correct it to make it your tone, your style. But I would say this is the very basics when it comes to color grading. Generally, you need a monitor. You need to check out the different highlights, lowlights. You need to read waveforms. But if I'm really going very basic about it, this is the easiest way to sort of just do your color correction and color grading. From my side, like literally, I think this was on with just these few things, especially the animation and the keyframing, would already start helping you build better videos. And when you start experimenting with different options within your timeline. Anyone has any questions with regards to anything? No? All good. I mean, that's it from me. I hope that was somewhat insightful. It's really difficult to teach video editing in such a short span, because like it's a lot of things to cover. Especially like it's good that you asked me to show you how to bring in clips and stuff like that. I would never have thought of it because I've been away from that side of things from town. Do you have any questions, Fez?
Show us one of your workflows.
One of the actual workflows that I have. Yeah, okay. I'll show y'all. So there was a project that we did for the Fujairah government, which is a pretty pretty complex project, and I'll show you exactly what that kind of thing entails. So it is. So let me open it up. if it opens up. No, it's just a huge, there's so many, it's GBs of files that we had to film for UNESCO. Faiz, you're not getting your wish.
Or anything forward.
What can I show you? In fact, you know what? Let me show you the After Effects, the Rove one, which I did. There you have it, folks. This is the reason why people switch to DaVinci, because it crashes a lot. Premiere Pro, but let me open up After Effects. After Effects is much more stable than Premiere Pro, and I prefer to use it over Premiere Pro these days. Premiere Pro is easier in terms of creating workflow, but After Effects gives you way more control over every little thing that you do. So, City Center, is it? I think that was it. Yes. So this is just the different timeline for that video, which I showed you all in the beginning, the fast-paced, energetic sort of video. The timeline? This is actually small. This is very little. But these are all different things that you need to create in order to get into that. So from here, this is a mask of the Rove. If I literally, it's a door closing, which mask is this? Yeah. There's a mask around the Rove signage, which reveals another section of the hotel, and then getting into the intro. Oh, there's a mask, a transition mask in here, which zooms into that particular frame, and then there's a little. This is a little smiley face, which is also another scene, which has been masked out and put into there, and then there's it's got its own rotation happening down here. In Premiere Pro, all the effects panels are on the left hand side. Here, everything is at the bottom. It's under each clip. So every clip has their own thing that you do. And then you do that, and then you have your zoom ins to a new scene, to another scene. So this is just an example of a 18-second clip, but it has so many things happening in there. And within that, for example, the smiley face edit, just to do that, this is me keeping the smiley face stabilized. So that's one part. Then there was me creating the doors closing. This is I've split it into three different aspects, and then I've animated each frame for this, so that it looks like you're coming through a door. It doesn't exist. It's just a wall. And I use that to basically enter another scene. I believe it is over here. Yeah, from here you come in through that door. So these are all like more advanced, but that's the same things I just taught you guys about keyframing and masking is exactly how I did that. But it's isolating certain things. And again, it's when you're editing, it's about how creative you can be, because you can do anything you want in an editing software. Obviously, with a mobile phone or a mobile device is a bit limiting, because the screen size is so small. So just trying to do these minute adjustments, it takes away. It just kind of goes all over the place. It is possible. I've seen people do it. I don't have the patience to do it because it's literally that small. But doing it on a big screen on the bigger editing software, it's a lot of fun, especially once you learn the few basics. Suddenly, like I said, the world opens up. Like even me, when I started off, if I can find the first video, I think you guys will laugh. I don't know if I have it here. I showed it to you, right, Faiz? That's on the other computer. I was so proud of myself when I did that first video in 2016. It was me on a skateboard for Asus. I shot a video for Asus. It was the worst video I've ever seen in my life, looking back at it now. But back then, I was like, wow, yeah, this is a great video. It's just 5 or 6 clips stuck together, and I found out how to sort of slow down the timeline. Just that having that really slow motion and really jerky clips for some reason looked really good to me back in the day. But yeah, I've come a long way, and from that to this, just understand. I didn't know how to keyframe. I didn't know animation, etc., like that. Just these small things. The day I learned, understood. It's again a lot of self-learning and YouTube, which helped me get that. Once I understood how keyframe worked, and I understood its application as an editor, like I said, it opened up my world in terms of what I can use to edit and create. So, I mean, I hope this little sort of tutorial helped. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me about anything when it comes to videography or editing. Happy to help.
Differences between After Effects and
For beginner, I would suggest Premiere Pro. Yeah, After Effects has a lot more control. You have a lot more effects. So Hollywood uses After Effects to create a lot of the movies that you watch. They use either DaVinci Resolve or After Effects. The DaVinci is a little bit more complex when it comes to creating VFX elements. After Effects is still more intuitive. If you have a sort of grasp with Premiere Pro or any basic editing software, After Effects looks daunting because of the way things are layered. It's not very user-friendly when you start. You know, I was afraid when I started using it. I sort of forced myself to keep using because the amount of control I had over projects in video. For example, that door opening thing of the thing, it's possible to do it in Premiere Pro, but there's a lot more things you need to do in order to get that. But in Premiere Pro, you need to nest the clip, you need to draw a single mask, nest that again. It's just way too many steps to get a simple thing done. So that's where I feel it limits your creativity. Premiere Pro is just meant for quick sort of, you want to get things done. Premiere Pro is great to align your clips, bring them all together, put your storyboard together. Like you've got your start and your mid and your end. You put them all down there. And the cool thing about Adobe is that you can continue that project. So you select all your clips, you right click on them, and you say, create After Effects composition. So it takes whatever you've done in Premiere Pro and brings it to After Effects, wherein you have whatever you do there is changed completely in real time on your Premiere Pro for your exporting process. So you can link the two together.
Just a follow-up on that, your machine,
Yeah.
your computer, what do you recommend?
It's actually a mix. It's for streamers, it's for gaming, or it's for video creators. Yeah, it's the Republic of Gamers from Asus. This is one of their earlier models. It's the dual screen. So I basically use this as my timeline view. So the little thing that you saw on the bottom where the timeline, I see it down here. It just gives me more real estate to play around and actually have a better sort of grasp. And it's a powerful PC, especially for what I do, for the rendering. And this is an i9, I believe. Yeah, i9 11 Gen. I know. I was pretty happy when I bought this. It pretty much stopped. Yeah. You don't really need a very powerful PC or powerful device to begin editing. Like I said, you can start with the phone. You can start with the most basic things. Understanding what you do on the phone can literally be translated into the computer. It's the same working environment. Just maybe the UI, the user interface is slightly different. But beyond that, it's nearly the same. Similar functions that you have on the phone, you would have on the bigger desktop PCs and so on and so forth. So really, there's no limitation when it comes to that. It comes to starting video editing, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's it from me. Any more questions, guys? No. What? I'm clapping for myself.
For yourself?
I clap for myself. I do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you, iBrandConnect, for having me here for this photo talk.
This is for you.
It's for me.
The platform is for you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. No, I'm here. I'm happy to be over here and sort of impart. I've never done this before, so if I was terrible at it, please let me know, because I'm not at my natural best. I'm generally behind the camera. I'm behind a computer screen.
Stop lying. You did a talk at sunset.
Yeah, that was like with a gun pointed at my back.
Okay, now what we are going to do again is like, like we will, for a long time we've been looking for a workshop. So we had to do something like it's a long time that, like I've been talking with Firas to have a workshop with him, and for you also, like, like we need to create it. Like, like as we did like for the last 2 years, all the content creators photos are here, even Firoz photos here, and next time your picture also going to be there. Or, I want to have a huge wall of like, like people, those who are doing the photo talks along with iBrandConnect. So I'm so happy that you did that great job today here. And let us do something real good, a long workshop, maybe a whole day kind of workshop. Okay. Thanks again for everyone come, and my friend Ronald, Eva, like always he used to be supporting us like during the Emirates film festival and all. And today we have a singer here. Her name is Venus, and she's also going to sing something for us tonight.
When I come back.
Yeah, please come join.
You
please
can
come
sing.
join. Yeah,
My
yeah.
mic is right here.
Yeah. So of
My
course,
mic
yeah.
is right here. You
Yeah,
can
and
take
then we close, and then we have
We have a
then
dance session.
Okay, come on, join. Yeah, one of them, one of your performance. Yeah, come. Yeah, a little bit.
Literally give us a 20
As
second
long as you are here, then why not? Yeah. Are you sure?
Next time, I promise.
Okay. So those who are with car, like we'll give a small slip that you just activate your parking card over here. When you go right, there's a security sitting over there, so you can just activate that. So like you don't need to pay anything on the gate. And let us take a group picture.
Sure.
Please come forward. Jade, come. Come on.